Hello from the Open Diplomacy Program. Today's topic, Türkiye, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, Trilateral Cooperation. Our speaker, Associate Professor Farhan Hanif Siddiqi from Pakistan. There is a social consensus among the three countries that strengthening the cooperation between Turkey, Azerbaijan, Pakistan will contribute to the welfare of the societies of the three friendly and brotherly countries and serve regional and global peace and stability. In July, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Azerbaijani President İlham Aliyev, Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif came together in Astana, the capital of Kazakhstan. It was stated that the relation between Turkey, Azerbaijan, Pakistan were discussed and regional and global issues were evaluated at the Trilateral Summit. Dear Farhan Hanif Siddiqi, how can cooperation be established in the fields of education, culture, tourism to strengthen the existing familiarity between the societies of Turkey, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, and what are your suggestions?
Thank you so much, Cemal. Thank you for having me in Open Diplomacy. It's an absolute honor. It's a very important question about project collaboration or trilateral cooperation over issues of education, culture, and tourism. So let me start with a more general comment. And that relates to my subject, international relations, that I teach at the Quaid-e-Azam University. So whenever I have fresh first semester students or even some middle years or senior graduate students, and I ask them what international politics or international relations is all about. And more often than not, the understanding that I get from these students is about it's a very political, military, strategic, dominated subject, that state behavior is primarily about national interest, which is absolutely right, because this is how states operate in international politics. But the national interest that students usually define is, again, from a very zero-sum, from a very binary lens in which the national interest of one state is necessarily opposed to the national interest of another, that cooperation engagement is rarely achieved, that international politics is run on principles of conflict, wars, and violence. And when they see news on TV, which I believe is absolutely selective in the sense that it's concentrated more on conflict, wars, and violence. So when they see Israeli brutality in Gaza Strip or the tensions between Iran and Israel, or the Russian invasion of Ukraine, so their understanding of international politics is reinforced. That it's all about political, military, strategic issues. And that is where I stop them. And I say that, no, that's only one half of the story. The other half of the story of how international politics runs, of how international relations is conducted, is that states also need or have the urgent need to cooperate with each other. So you cannot understand international relations without understanding cooperation. So survival does not necessarily comes through wars or states fighting with each other. Survival also comes through engagement, through cooperation, through trade, in cultural and other non-traditional security domains. Just look at US and China today. Their bilateral trade is more than $600 billion. So with open diplomacy, your forum, and your question about education, culture, and tourism, I think they're absolutely vital subjects that are underemphasized, that should be emphasized more, and students need to understand, and even larger research needs to be on these functional areas of cooperation, which are absolutely essential for state survival. For Pakistan, Azerbaijan, and Turkey, uh, uh, mean the subject that is under discussion. I think the positive trend is that there's a very solid foundational base for all of these three states. So in 2022, Pakistan and Turkey, celebrated 75 years of their diplomatic relations. In the same year, Pakistan and Azerbaijan, celebrated 30 years of their diplomatic relations. The fact that there's no protracted conflict between all of these three states, the fact that there is a cultural, brotherly, even a religious, historical sentiment that binds all of them together. I think these are positive elements which provide some positive room on how to build further on the areas that you identify. So recent trends, I think, which are absolutely positive, is that tourism, is something where Pakistan and Turkey and Pakistan, and Azerbaijan are making progress. So a lot of Pakistani citizens who are now coming to Turkey, and a lot of Pakistani citizens who are now going to Azerbaijan. Um, the Turkish drama Ertugrul was very popular in Pakistan, and there are other historical dramas which are still, people see. Although I haven't seen it yet, I don't, I do not, look at dramas all that often. But still, it's popular and, so to speak, connects with the image of Turkey and the people of Turkey. Uh, the my focus would be on education because I'm from academia, uh, uh, do international relations, international politics. So there are a couple of things that I think uh, can be built upon in the future. That, as I said, that the positive element of foundation is already there. But I think there are some challenges that we need to navigate, especially in the area of education. So let me start first. I'll identify three areas. So let me start first with student exchange. Um, so there are two students that I know now from my department who are studying for a master's degree in Turkey. So the Turkey government has a scholarship for Pakistani students. It is mediated through the Higher Education Commission in Islamabad. And besides these two students, there are always students who are coming to Turkey for education. And I think that's something very positive. But I'm not sure how many Turkey students are now coming to Pakistan for education. So 30 years back, yourself, Salim, Ali Shaheen, others, they were in Pakistan. But I'm not sure. I do not have the figures. But I think the number has declined. And it's something that needs to be increased. So very recently, Pakistan accepted 30 students from Palestine for completing their medical degrees in Pakistan. So I think we have a very competitive, higher education, medical, education sector, which is very competitive, both public and private. So I think the trajectory of increasing students from Turkey and Azerbaijan coming to Pakistan in different fields, and again, we are very competitive, medical, engineering, even social sciences sectors. Uh, that can be looked at, and I think that is something that can be built upon. Although, as I said, I do not have figures, but I think the figures of Turkey students coming to Pakistan has declined, but I might be incorrect. But I think that is one area that we can focus on. The other area which I think is a challenge, and something that can be worked upon, is the area of faculty collaboration, academic collaboration. So 2 years back, 2022, I was part of a delegation of Pakistani academics, and that is where I met you and Salim as well. We came to Turkey, we went to a number of different universities and research institutes and think tanks in Istanbul, and we had a fascinating exchange, about regional security, regional integration, regional cooperation, trade and investments, even political and strategic issues, and a lot of commonalities in the sense of how academics in Pakistan and Turkey, look at each other. There was even a delegation from an Azerbaijan university that came to Pakistan. Uh, I, rem- I forget the name now of that university, but they were here. Uh, I think the challenge is that yes, you can have these delegations of academics, going to Turkey, or Turkey academics coming to Pakistan, and the same in the case of Azerbaijan. But I think what we lag in is inadequate funding, So you can outline research projects, you can outline research collaborations, you can outline a number of other interesting areas. Again, regional security, regional cooperation, where we can work together. But I think funding for academics, needs to keep pace with the funding that we have for Pakistani students going to Turkey and other places. And I think that is one area that we lack in. So I think that is absolutely important. So let's say if a Turkish academic wants to come to Pakistan, to do research for 6 months or a year, or a Pakistani academic wants to go to Turkey or Azerbaijan and wants to do research for a number of months or years, I think what we need is adequate funding for these academics, and that can actually consolidate the collaboration, in the academic sector. A final, area, I think it's not a challenge, more an area, I think, where academic and even faculty and even student collaboration can take place is, I think, Pakistan, Turkey, and Azerbaijan can, work on a more post-colonial global South understanding of international relations. So in recent years, there's been a lot of literature, about the Chinese international relations, or about global South international relations, of a non-Western international relations, of a non-Eurocentric international relations. So again, international relations, as other social science disciplines, they're constituted through a very heavy Western lens. The world is changing now. The global South is manifesting itself. We are now living in a pluriverse, of different ideas, different concepts, different theories. And I think what we, as academics in Turkey and Azerbaijan can work upon is to have, let's say, a work on an Asian international relations, or a Pakistani international relations, or a Turkey or an Azerbaijan international relations, which does not reject completely, a Western epistemology, but works through it in order to reframe it in ways which makes our voices more distinct. So I think there's a very, very fresh and a very robust, area of ideas of where we, these three states, where do we stand in terms of, offering our own distinct perspective, a more global South, a more non-Western oriented perspective of international relations. And I think this is where we can make a lot of gains.
Dear Farhan Siddiqi, thank you for sharing your knowledge and expression on trilateral cooperation between Turkey, Azerbaijan, Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.